Silver in the last 24 hours has broken a record all-time high. It actually got as high as $86 plus. You can see it coming in right here. So if we zoom in very closely, you can just see how high this got. This is absolutely insane how quickly this is all happening. And we got to about $86.26 right there on the silver price. And that's off the back end of some very volcanic explosive weeks for silver. So just have a look at this, an absolute surging tidal wave, money coming into silver. People are stacking this, and yes, there has been just a slight cool off within the last couple of hours. You can see that profit taking that is getting triggered on the short term. But you guys know, if you're a subscriber of this channel, we are not here, or I'm not here anyway, to trade this in the short term and just flip it quickly. Guys, we're going to be here for the long term, stacking silver, because my belief right here on this channel is the world is getting more and more chaotic. And as this trend continues, as trust goes down in the government, as things start to spiral more and more, people will go to assets like silver, like precious metals, like hard assets, because of the volatility and the lack of trust and all the conflicts. So that's what we're seeing play out right now on the silver price. So we're sitting about $84. In today's video, guys, we're going to break down this price on the technical level. So where could we go to next in the short term? And then we're also going to do a major update about this, what's happening with Trump, what's happening with Iran, what's the likelihood of, a big attack against Iran, what's that going to do to the price of precious metals, plus an absolute ton more. So if you enjoy it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you want it read out in the next video. We might keep doing this. We are getting quite a few comments, so I appreciate all that, but feel free to drop a comment. We'll try and keep that train rolling for as long as we can. And let's get straight into it. So you can see right here, guys, great price movements for silver. So we actually got $86 plus. On the technical front, okay, so let's just zoom out just a little bit. Let's do the dailies, actually, see if we can get a bit of a structure. Not too much of a structure, to be honest, because we're just surging, right? It is just going up and up and up. Yes, if we actually go back to the hourlies for silver, picking out some trends, you can see some pretty interesting price dynamics. So this was the first flash high for silver. So if you remember that, guys, huge amount of FOMO, heaps of hype coming in here, and then you had, rapid profit taking. So one thing that is true is every time, silver tends to make an all-time high, like here or even here, people will take profits on that. So there are short-term traders, they will sell it. But having said that, I think if you do study the structure of silver, the fundamentals of silver, you have to consider the long-term stacking option as well, because there is some very good stuff long-term going in silver's direction right now. But you can see right here from the first one, we then retested all the way down to about $70. So right now there is a very strong floor at $70. So you can see it bounce off 1, 2, 3, 4 times off the $70 level. The next attempt at an all-time high, we got up to about $82. And at the moment, look, it seems to be bouncing pretty decently, actually, off the high, low 80s. So 82, 83, we've had some bounces off that. And I have to say, fundamentally, it's looking strong. So I'm not going to be surprised at some stage in the future, we come back and we're going to see like $120 silver, $150 silver, potentially $200 silver, because, there are some big things. We'll talk about this later in the video that, I think people just need to consider if they're in the market and they're into precious metals right now. But that is interesting on the technical front. And again, these and the silver price might even go higher based on some factors we'll talk about coming up very soon. I saw a cool meme right here. This never gets old, #silver. So your silver, $20. He's fighting with his missus. And then it's our silver is $85. So that is just... that's classic. You can see him stacking hard with his conviction. His wife's not buying it because the price wasn't moving, but now it's $85. Maybe $100. Maybe she's super happy soon. But nice little meme dropping right there for the silver community. And if we have a look right here, okay, so things are heating up with Iran. President Trump imposes a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. Okay, so it's important to know right now the situation with Iran, it's actually getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, so this is the country Trump is economically isolating it from all trading. So we're talking all the typical traders out there with that 25% tariff coming in. That's going to be interesting because there's going to be more and more pressure coming in on the Iranian government right now. We're seeing gold hit record all-time highs, but also, look, this is escalating. This is fresh alpha. So literally, if you want the freshest alpha, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. We are covering this really, really quickly. So President Trump was briefed late Monday by his national security team on a wide array of military options for Iran, including cyber and psychological operations, two defense officials tell CBS News. So potentially Trump is preparing for a strike. We haven't got the guaranteed green light for a strike on Iran. That is what they're saying right here. The other thing to understand right now is there is a lot of video footage and pictures floating around on Twitter, but I have to say also the internet has been cut off for like multiple days now in Iran. So some of the footage you're seeing over on Twitter might not be 100% accurate, or it might be old. You also have a State Department alert for Iran. You would have thought that's been expected anyway. Like, you know, if you're going to Iran, you know, you'd probably know this already, but they're telling to leave basically. And we are seeing, you know, speculation on advanced stages of strikes against Iran. That's what's getting speculated, right? Nothing guaranteed yet, but that is the kind of the big alpha that is breaking. You can see right here, this is some footage, but it's being claimed, right? So it's being claimed, but there's no satellites in Iran. There's no internet in Iran. So whether this is actually accurate or not, we will find out. So you're going to see all these Twitter posts actually say it's a claim. So that is what they're speculating on. There's big protests at the moment. But again, I stress the tech factor. This is not something like we've seen before because the internet has been cut off. And we will see how this all plays out. And look, on the back end of things as well, if we jump over to our live money, this is what the money is predicting right now. So this is the big money in the market. Next, country US strikes. Let's have a look at this. We have Iran leading. No, Somalia is actually leading, 36%. So Somalia, you're in the firing line today. We have Iran, 33%, Syria, 21%. So they're the top three countries. And again, if we go to our strikes on Iran, we're sitting at 58% to come in within the next 17, 18 days right now. That is what some of the money out there is saying in the market. But again, we're going to see how this all plays out. How does it link into silver? Why do we care about the geopolitics? Because again, you know, when you have silver, when you have conflicts, when you have inflation as well, when you have government spending that's out of control, and you also have a disconnect between, you know, the government and the people, what do the people go to? What can they trust? They can trust precious metals. They can trust silver. They can trust more decentralized assets, right? That's what's happening with silver. That's what's happening with gold. That's what's happening with a lot of precious metals. Remember, these are not just assets as like money assets. These are actually needed in the economy as well. So you can actually, if you're stacking silver, that can be melted and used in the economy in somehow as well. So some way or another, silver, gold, it's got a very high industrial, you know, even military use. So it's a really good asset, I think, anyway, future-proof. And if you have a look right here, U.S. national debt going towards $40 trillion. So we're at $38.6 trillion. Remember, there's no real plan for this. The politicians very, very rarely talk about the U.S. national debt. It's like the last thing on their list. There is no plan. They're not paying this off, right? It's a very, very big mess. Who ends up, you know, paying for it? It's generally your hard-working U.S. taxpayers, right? So if you're your average guy working a 9-to-5 job and you're paying government tax, this is where your money, a lot of it goes, right? You're paying off the US national debt on all these crazy things. That's the reality. And that's, you know, the reality of a lot of Western countries right now. Unfortunately, there is a big disconnect. There's a lot of spending on things that don't really benefit your average person out there. And this is just something to have on the radar. Look, as this journey unfolds right there with US national debt, and again, silver, you know, looking really strong. So again, last 24 hours, bit of profit taking. Maybe that continues a little bit. But again, you got to think about the long-term things for silver. And I have to say, look, a lot of things are lining up very, very nicely right now over the long term. And some women out there are being very happy with their men who are stacking silver right now. And let's read out some of your comments before we end today's video. So Peter's got friends in Nigeria, can't get through to them today. Appreciate the comments. Clive Thompson says silver is crazy in the UK, and it probably is, right? UK has one of the most oppressive regimes in terms of government over there and taxing the people. So I'm sure lots of people will be going to silver in the UK. So Rick Rule owns Battletank, and Andy Scheckman started Miles Franklin when he was a young man. Big bullion bank, great guy to deal with, whether buying physical gold and silver or storing them with fast access. So very cool, good to know. And nickel will be getting expensive, and copper will soar. Keep stacking silver. Gold buys bullets, and silver makes missiles. True. Very true right there. And Dr. Wolf says, so glad I bought 2 1 kilo bars of silver at 4,020 each recently. So great move right there, Dr. Wolf. And Young Pistachio says, this is going to be a very interesting week. I'm expecting higher and higher prices for all metals until things calm down. Even then, I don't see them retracing too aggressively. Yes. So look, I think the other thing to factor into right now is just the world just for some reason, you know, ever since lockdowns, it seems to be spinning faster and faster and faster. And we just need to prepare for this, because I do think, look, Iran could be next to fall. And remember, these things are not smooth. Like, even if Iran does get toppled, you know, is there going to be like the big civil war conflict like there was in Iraq with the Sunnis versus the Shias and all that type of stuff? And then do the refugees have, you know, leave Iran to go other places? And, you know, that can be problematic as well. So none of this is really smooth sailing. So it's a great time to be thinking decentralized, to say the absolute least. So, you know, if you can't really trust centralized government as much anymore, you know, decentralized networks seem to be the thing, or even local organic networks. Honestly, they're probably like one of the most important things. If we were ever to go into, you know, potentially like a 28 days later or 28 years later scenario right there. Maybe one day we'll do a video on that, but I honestly think if that was to happen and things were actually to get very, very bad, that's where your real life networks really come into play, like your organic communities that, you know, people you live nearby, and, you know, people have to kind of come together during very, very difficult times, which honestly might be coming in the future at some stage, depending on how bad things get. I'm not sure exactly how bad things get. I want to be the optimist though. I don't want bad things to happen. I'd much prefer everyone just makes lots of money, and, you know, the stock market booms, and, you know, all the good stuff, and, you know, all the fun stuff we love. But, you know, you have to also be contingent about just how rapidly things are kind of going around the world in different countries right now. And what is the last comment we have? 82 is just the beginning. We'll look back at tomorrow and say, remember when it was only 85? Yeah, shout out. We got up to 86. It's a good prediction right there, Peter. We got up to 86 bucks. We're sort of up at 84 right now. But again, I think it's going to take some time. But, you know, this is the silver train seems to just kind of start to get rolling. And remember, as these prices go higher, you're going to get first-time silver buyers as well. So you're going to get like a bigger community coming into, you know, the silver community and the precious metals community, which I think is very good. So that's another self-fulfilling prophecy. And guys, that's a major update for today. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe. Shout out to every one of you guys watching the video to the end. Really appreciate that. And we're going to keep growing this channel. So if you enjoy it, make sure to just stay tuned for the next video. We'll have another update coming up at some stage. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Economic Zeus signing out.